you ever have those moments in a day where you just get really anxious and you can't even pinpoint what you're anxious about or why or where the heck this is coming from? Dr. Nick helps us unravel the mystery. Good to see you.
Oh, yes, but it is a mystery.
Yes.
Anxiety is, you know, I treat a lot of people with anxiety, and of course most of them are also depressed. They kind of go
they go hand in hand. Darn it.
But we talk a lot about, you know, what can we do for anxiety?
Be a risk taker.
Risk taker.
Yeah, don't be averse to adventure.
Don't avoid things because that's going to make you more anxious. And if you're a student and you've got homework and you're trying to put it off a week, it's just going to make you more anxious.
Right.
But I do believe that it's a jump a little bit ahead by saying, okay, how can we get rid of it? We need to explore sometimes where it might be coming from, where it might be rooted. And it's usually rooted in core belief systems. Okay. Core belief systems meaning I'm not good enough, I'm always looking for approval, I'm saying I'm sorry. And remember, all this usually leads us back to childhood.
Okay, so we don't look at like what happened yesterday that made me anxious today. It's like we really probably have to be real honest and go back.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And that's not necessarily that we're digging up all these painful memories and then making it work. We've got to do something with those anxious memories, right?
Right, or they're just going to keep resurfacing.
Or they're going to keep resurfacing and get worse, and I haven't done my job. Which is to help them overcome some of that. But it's important to note that, let's say somebody was yelled at all the time growing up. One had a sister or a brother who excelled in everything, and she didn't. And what about somebody who's always saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, and then I'm listening to today, and I'm looking for approval, I'm sorry, I'm not good enough. When am I going to be loved by God? Especially when, and this has been something that I've been fascinated by, Whitney. I have met so many people who I thought had the perfect childhood. And you know what? One of the things that stands out,
Tell me.
They will say to me, I just didn't fit in. And I'm like, what do you mean you didn't fit in? I just didn't feel like I fit in. And it made me realize that fitting in is not necessarily being pretty or accepted or popular. I mean, it may, but everybody in childhood and middle school has self-consciousness.
Right. Now, do you mean not fitting into their own family or not fitting into the world or their friends? All of the above, huh?
It could be any or all of the above.
Okay.
It could be any, because remember, nobody's childhood or middle school experience is usually that great.
Right. Right. We all have had awkward moments.
Well, and then think about all the people that maybe had to go through divorce when they were 10 or 11 years old.
Right.
What about the people that at 15 want to go out, or 16, they want to go out with their friends, but their divorced father, she sees his pain. And
it's his weekend with her.
And it's his weekend with her. And so it creates this. Do you see where
I do.
It just can come from so many places.
But
then we can start saying, okay, I don't have to stay there.
Okay. Yes. I was just going to reiterate. I think it's great when somebody has somebody like you to facilitate that and ask the right questions. I think it's very difficult when you have to do it yourself.
Very difficult. Very difficult.
So,
and I'm not pushing my wares or the counselor's wares, but it is. And it's not something, I had one that came in to see me several weeks ago, and she said, you know, I've got the greatest parents in the world, and they're always saying, well, why don't you talk to us? And she says, I don't want to talk to you about these things, because what she wanted to say, what she said to me, is they're part of the problem.
Right.
But she doesn't want to tell them that.
No.
She doesn't want to say, you're the causing my anxiety.
It does no good, right? Nothing good will come of that. They're in their 70s. It's not going to change
or 30s.
Oh.
You know, no, I'm talking about somebody's in an adolescent and parents will talk to us. Well, I don't want to talk to you.
I see.
And that's where friendships can be very, very, very powerful.
Sure.
It can be very powerful.
So I'm sorry, I totally interrupted with
no.
But you were saying that once they realize it, sorry, I digressed on
No, it's okay.
realizing it and how important that is. Once they realize it, what do they do with it?
That's when we have to start talking about, okay, we're going to change that script. We got to live by those rules. Can we catch when we feel like, for instance, gosh, I'm yelling at myself. I know that takes work. But we are capable of I'm fussing at myself, I'm whipping myself, I'm talking down at myself. That's creating my anxiety. It's old stuff, but I've internalized it, huh?
Right.
And I need to change the script. I have an affirmation list. I'm gonna bring it, we're gonna talk through it one of these days.
Oh, good.
It's just an affirmation list of about 30 or 40 things. I love to give it to somebody who's got a lot of anxiety. I said, just go through it and pick the top 5. And they said, oh, I'm not into all this affirmation stuff. And I'm like, just pick the top 5. And let's just say, for instance, one of them that usually is always picked. I can change the rules that I used to live by. Now, is that psychobabble?
No.
Is that just fake affirmation?
No. It's real.
I can change. I can follow my belief systems. I can walk in my lane and not worry about somebody else's lane. I am capable of making good judgments. Do you hear how that just kind of like
It lifted me.
wow, I can do this.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not 10 anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not 12 anymore. I've been stuck with these tapes. I've got the capacity in my brain to change the wiring. I really believe it.
I really believe it
Take it out, put.
Yes.
It's work. And you know when it's most important though to do the work?
Tell me.
Just when you're not anxious.
Oh, good point. Okay.
When you are stable and everything's going well, that's when you throw in these affirmations. Because then you're preparing yourself for the panic attack that may not come
Yeah.
as strong or powerful because I've got a defense system that says, not getting to me today.
I love it. Yeah. Oh, I love it. It's like, this is my anti-kryptonite.
But people want to call, no, I've just had an anxious day. I'm like, can we get together when you're not anxious? And then we can maybe do
some work. Oh, good, good. I love that.
Doesn't it make sense?
Absolutely.
Would you really want to sit down and talk to Sydney Joy about something she did that was unacceptable in that moment? Be honest, Whitney. Don't you think
No.
it's like we gotta de-escalate?
Oh, I was going to say.
We gotta calm down. Let's deal with this
If
later.
you're mad, you want to, but if you're smart, you go, we're going to talk about this tomorrow.
Right. And then hopefully later, you'll be thinking about how might I handle that the next time it happens.
I know.
One last thing.
Yes.
A little anxiety is good. Just always have to make sure. we
Oh,
say
really?
that.
A little?
Yes. A little anxiety is always good.
It can be a motivator, is that right?
Yeah. Think
Okay.
of speaking or getting ready to give a presentation or
A deadline.
You know, a deadline.
Get you going.
Meeting new people, going in for a job interview.
Okay.
You know, thinking about wanting to take another job, as we've discussed, I think.
Yeah.
But a little anxiety is good.
Okay. But a lot of anxiety, we got to work it out. More Weekends with Whitney after this.